All right, so now let's begin to walk through some of this. First, from the Lakers' end, we say hello to Ramona Shelburne of the ESPN, ESPN.com. Lakers, the ball's in their court. They've got LaVar issue. Nothing new there. What do they do about it right now, if anything?
Mm-hmm. Well, their policy has been not to give him oxygen. They feel like if they respond, that's giving him exactly what he wants. But I think we've kind of got to the point now where because you're not responding, and Rick Carlisle and Steve Kerr and Stan Van Gundy are offering more impassioned defenses of Luke Walton than you are, it now becomes a question about why are you not defending your coach against this guy? I understand the idea of not giving him oxygen, not seeming like you're even reacting to it, but Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka have sat down in a room across from LaVar Ball twice now, and he has looked them in the eye and said, I will talk to you before I go public with criticisms like this. And he has blatantly violated that word several times now. So, one, you have an issue of you're letting your young head coach who's trying to get a group of young guys come together, you're letting him hang out there without public support. And two, you're letting a person, a parent, lie to you twice now without any kind of public admonishment. And I at least in my end, I think the Lakers look bad here for being silent, because the longer you stay silent, the more the seeds that LaVar is trying to plant, obviously, are growing.
Yeah, aside from the fact that the coaches who have spoken out, we just played a bunch of those sound bites, are saying things that maybe the Lakers might want to say some things. What do you make of that percolating social issue, news judgment, we're all being taken for a wink and a nod ride? What do you make of that?
Look, I mean, you and I are having this conversation because we don't have the answer to it now. This stuff is changing so quickly. What's a story? You know, I when I first came into the business, Bob, there was AOL, okay?
Yeah.
We barely had the internet. Twitter was not even a thought process. Dial-up, okay? So, you know, I had to sit in the office all day waiting for a return phone call because not everybody had cell phones, okay? So this is how quickly this has changed. And I think when you look at this, I had to look at myself and the way I wanted to cover LaVar Ball and this whole story several times. And it's evolved throughout the process. Back in May, I wrote a magazine cover story on him. And mostly what the story was the phenomena of LaVar Ball. How did this happen that this parent all of a sudden grabbed a megaphone and now he's important? And then, you know, obviously his son was a story, but the most interesting part of it was LaVar was saying he will be a Laker. And he was trying to speak that into existence. And the fact that actually came to fruition was an incredible story. And I think that covering the phenomena of it was where I thought we were. Now you cover, what did the Lakers respond to? How does this affect his son? How does this affect the team? What does it say about Luke Walton? Is his job actually in jeopardy? And I think that's what we're covering now.
Those are all the questions
at least
right
in my
now.
opinion.
Yeah, Ramona.
Yeah, and at least in my opinion, Bob, it is a story in Lithuania. He pulled his sons out of school and gave up their college education. I want to see if that's going to work or not.
Exactly. I'll have more on the BLT coming up in the next segment. Ramona, thanks so much. Ramona Shelburne, read her online at ESPN.com. Let's now say hello to Elena Bergeron, who is the editor-in-chief of SBNation.com. She recently wrote in a year-end piece about LaVar Ball. That's the whole thing about changing norms. Somebody's going to get mad. In 2017, LaVar Ball has been as ubiquitous as Mark Zuckerberg, as media-obsessed as Donald Trump, as much a hype man as Evan Spiegel, he of Snapchat, and that has pissed people off, end quote. So did Mr. Ball do all of this by himself?
No, Mr. Ball did not do all of this by himself, but he played the system right. And he has a lot of incentive to play the system right because, per his own admission, LaVar Ball does not set the rotation for the Los Angeles Lakers. He does not determine the media policy for coaches and their access to ESPN. The one instrument and the one area of power he has is the things that he says and his ability to get a microphone put in front of his face. That is the most profitable thing that he can do for himself and his family personally. And you can't fault him for seeing that in a capitalist society and attacking it as an entry point into some sort of power in the basketball world.
All right, so you've got the disruptor out there in the marketplace trying to create a franchise for his sons and a franchise for the big baller brand. But now within the media, let me ask you, someone who manages a SB Nation, how do you balance clicks, traffic, revenue against the correct media judgment?
Yeah. Right. It's a central question, I think, for all media, and in particular, digital media, and ESPN has this huge foray into more digital media. It's this question of, and I think that in the broader context, we don't do a good job of talking about it because we are not really presenting an evolved conversation about what audience behavior is. When people say, oh, you write this headline and people click on it. Yeah, that's a really simple and crass and basic way to describe it. But there's a real consideration about whether the heart of the story, and in this case, Jeff Goodman asked, LaVar Ball to go on record with a thing that he had clearly said off camera, and then, pushed him on it. And LaVar Ball said, this is not based on me having talked to Lonzo. This is not based on me having talked to any of the other Lakers. This is my non-professional opinion based on body language.
And that's nuance, something that gets lost in all of the sauce, though. Nuance is the great enemy here, right?
Right.
Yeah, we don't have any of
Yeah,
that.
well, it is the great enemy, but it's that newsroom conversation of whether the promotion of a story is subject to the same journalistic ethics as the actual content that's being produced. And I think that is the heart of the matter. Like the audience, yes, LaVar Ball is a search term. The audience will click on things that say LaVar Ball, but will they continue to click on things that say LaVar Ball if what you read
is there a tipping
not
point? Exactly.
Substantive?
Exactly. Elena Bergeron, we appreciate
and so
your time.
in newsrooms, you have to make that decision.
Thanks so much for being with us today. We appreciate your time.